Well, let's see. Carol Danvers. First I got run over by Rogue, where she lost her memory and had no recollection of her life on Earth at all. She became binary and got the power to fly through space with vigor and fire bolts of energy, transgalactic travel, a degree of invulnerability, and she was a great pilot in the Air Force. And she and her father didn't get along because he wouldn't let her go to college, which is why she enlisted in the Air Force. Stop me if I'm reminding you of anything.
This is great stuff.
If I ever show up at anywhere near Marvel Studios, I'm going to get punched, I'm sure. Golly, I'm not jealous. Actually, I was pissed off because I really wanted Binary to get her own comic series, and apparently we can't because, oh, that's right, all of her powers were sort of the same as Phoenix's powers, and that's why Jean suddenly ended up having facial problems instead of like eating the universe. But I'm not bitter or anything.
Can we talk about that? Because you've now seen 2 different renditions of the famous saga.
Well, Jean certainly had more to do in this X-Men than she did the first time. What can we do with you in Dark Phoenix? I'll just stand around and watch. I mean, first I'll sort of eat Scott off panel, and then I'll lie there, then I'll throw Wolverine through a wall, then I'll break the wall. She's breaking the 4th wall, you understand. And then I'll just stand around while Magneto tells me something. Then Wolverine will kill me, and that'll be the end of it. Wow. This is Dark Phoenix? Yeah. Well, that didn't work. And the thing I find amazing is that there have, been like 12 X-Men, and basically it always comes down to Charlie and Magneto. Every film. And for the life of me, I kept thinking we had more characters in the book than that. But what do I know?
You mentioned there's 12 films. Out of the films and all the different storylines that they adapted from your works, is there one that stands out that you enjoyed more than the others?
Well, I mean, Days of Future Past had the advantage of actually following the book. Well, no, I mean, there were certain modifications. The comic was set in 1979, and the Kitty Pryde of the future came back to integrate into her past. So looking ahead, the punchline at the end was, have we changed the future? And Charlie says, no, we have no idea. Well, we won't find out till we get there, and by then it'll be too late. So we have to assume everything's going to go to shite, so we'll fix it as we go. Whereas the movie started in the present and moved back to the past. And unfortunately, even though Ellen Page was there as Kitty, excellent, she's still only slightly more than a teenager. And if you have a movie set in 2015 and you go back 20 years, oh look, 1995. But if the action in the past takes place during the Nixon administration, we're actually going back to 1973, which is, like it or not, 20 years before she was born. So that meant Kitty couldn't be the one who bounced through time. So in terms of the cast, you only had 3 characters who could bounce through time. Wait, this scene was in the movie. Charlie can't do it because back in the past he's sort of psycho. Eric can't do it because he's stuck in the Pentagon basement. So that leaves, Logan. Wow, that's tough. We have only one. The only character we can use to send back in time is the megastar of the movie. Well, I'd have no problem with that, actually. Hugh was an excellent choice to go back in the past, especially since Len Wein and I were there the day they shot him waking up in the girl's bed. You have to understand, Brian Singer built a 4-wall set. So he was watching on little video monitors, and he wouldn't let anybody see what was on the screen because he was getting up stark naked. And Len and I wanted to see. Hey, we're the creators. There are some privileges here. Of course, is he going to turn around? I don't know. You think no, they won't. And the thing is, you didn't want to really get in Hugh's face. Well, the joke was between each cut, and setup, he would come off stage and then pick up these like 10-pound hand weights and just do this, do 20 pumps with each hand, so that when he got back on stage, he was rip with, this is how he looked, so good, which he could do really easily the first time back in 2001, but by this point, he's not 32 anymore. He's pushing the big 5, and this is how shall we put it, a royal pain. Which I understand why he doesn't want to do it anymore. The reasons are fairly obvious. Though the question I have is, I sat through The Wolverine, and it seems to me,
The whole thing?
Don't start. The first 2 acts were cool. The minute he got on the motorcycle, it was like, hi, I'm going to attack the ninja stronghold. I'll just walk straight down the road. I'm thinking, you guys are really hard up for budget, aren't you? Or Hugh just doesn't want to, hurt. Because I was thinking of doing it the way Frank and I would have done it, which is he outsneaks the ninja. He's ducking in and out of buildings and taking them out as enthusiastically as they're trying to take him out. But that's just me. So it's like he does his scene, and I'm standing there, and I said, because I'm feeling like a brat, I said, Hugh, I've got this great idea. You won the Olivier for Oklahoma. You're a musical comedy star. Hallie can sing. So why don't, just for the hell of it, you and Hallie do a song and dance number in the middle of the film just to take the edge off of it? And he looks at me and says, no. And because I'm too stupid to live, I try it again. Come on, it'll be wonderful. No. And because I'm really too stupid to live, I said, but Hugh, and the next thing I know, as he says no, there are these 6 claws in his hand, and I have no idea where the fuck they came from. They're just there, and it's like, they didn't look like prosthetics. And he just says, no! Cool, okay, we're cool. So you don't backtalk Hugh Jackman. So, no, I mean, the film essentially was the story that John and I wrote. It's just that the edges have been muffled, so instead of it being the Carter administration, it was the Nixon administration. Instead of it being Kitty, it's Hugh. And for some reason, Mystique is running around all through it. But who cared? Because for me anyway, the story was not the past. The story was what was happening in the future. And the story in the future was essentially the story that John and I told, right down to everybody being killed. So, cool. The primal piss-off I have with that is what happened after the last scene, which is I assume you've all seen Days of Future Past?
Yes.
Good. But the post-credit moment is Sinister's Goonies showing up and looting Alkali Lake. The thing that made my head explode was Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix being set in the past, because, dude, we just went through a whole film where we established that Michael Fassbinder and James McAvoy are the younger iterations of Charlie and Magneto, which I can sort of accept for Apocalypse because that's in the 80s. But the minute you get up to 1996 with Dark Phoenix, it's like, wait, you're telling me that between 1996 and 2000, McAvoy turns into Patrick Stewart, and Fassbinder turns into Ian McKellen? You are aware that Ian McKellen is more mature?
Yo, comic fan, thanks so much for watching this video. If you like the shirt that I am repping, you can get yours at comictom101.store or go to the link in the bio. You can subscribe to Comics with Bueller's YouTube channel. His link is also in the bio. I want to know what your favorite X-Men character is, and if you do that, type it in the comment section below. I'll send you a comic book Chris Claremont wrote. I have many of them, and I'm just going to go up to pick a random one and just send it to you, and we'll announce it soon. Oh, and by the way, geek responsibly.